They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but in Get Out, it's worth so much more. Identity, power, and resistance. Jordan Peele transforms photography into a beautiful symbol that uncovers hidden truths, challenges exploitation, and finally, liberates. In this video essay, we'll explore how Get Out weaponizes photography as a tool to reveal the complexities of perception, identity, and power. From the very beginning, Peele introduces us to Chris's connection with photography. His apartment is decorated with large, striking photos that aren't just still images, they're narratives. His photos aren't simply for aesthetic. They're representative of his perspective, his struggles, and his ability to capture life with depth and emotion. But Chris's artistic identity doesn't just inspire, it also makes him a target. Jim Hudson, a blind art dealer, envies Chris's ability to see and frame the world.
You've got something.
Jim desires Chris's eye, believing that he can appropriate Chris's vision by literally taking over his body.
Your existence will be as a passenger. I'll control the motor function, so I'll be...
Me. You'll be me.
But through this, we understand what Peele is trying to emphasize. Artistry is inseparable from the identity of the person. Photography in Get Out isn't just about what is being seen, but it's about who is seeing. Jim's blindness, both literal and metaphorically, symbolizes his inability to understand that Chris's art is rooted in his Black identity and is not merely a reflection of the flesh that holds it. By thinking that he can inhabit Chris's body and obtain his skill, he reduces Chris to less than human.
I want your eye, man. I want those things you see through.
Peele uses this to critique the commodification of Blackness, reducing it to something to be possessed rather than understood. We see this in Grandpa Armitage's obsession with Jesse Owens. In his eyes, Owen's success is not a testament to his hard work or resilience. Instead, it's a symbol of something he envies, a physical superiority that he could not match. In fact, this is why Grandpa Armitage chooses to inhabit a Black body himself. Honestly, this is what leads the Armitages to commodify and distribute Black bodies at large. And whilst they do so, they erase the individuality and the humanity of those they're exploiting. But it's this dehumanizing mindset that connects directly to Jim Hudson's view of Chris. Just as Grandpa reduces Jesse Owens to his athleticism, Jim reduces Chris to his eye. Both see Blackness as a tool to fulfill their desires, rather than an identity shaped by lived experience, hard work, and personal struggle. Here we see the emphasized critique of how Black excellence is often appropriated or envied while ignoring the humanity, effort, and individuality that help make it possible. Midway through the film, Chris takes a photo of Logan, a peculiar Black man who seems oddly out of place at the Armitage party. When the flash goes off, something extraordinary happens.
Get out. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out! Yo! Yeah! Yo, chill, man. Get out! Chill! Get out! Chill, man! We're gonna chill! Get the fuck out of here!
This moment is a catalyst scene showing that photography becomes a literal weapon of awakening. It finally exposes the hidden reality of the Armitage's control. It's a reminder of photography's historical role in documenting and exposing injustice. We can pause here to think about photographs of lynching, Emmett Till's open casket, or just slavery in general. Peele draws a direct line between these images and Chris's photo of Andre, forcing people to confront uncomfortable truths. Photography becomes a tool that exposes what the eyes fail to see. Prior to this scene, we see Andre and Chris having face-to-face conversations, and while Chris has an internal feeling that something isn't quite right, he fails to articulate what. This photo scene triggers the real Andre, seen in the first act, to briefly come into consciousness and give Chris a stern and radical warning. This forces Chris to question what really might be going on behind the scenes and seek more guidance and insight. Through this interaction, Chris sees for a split second who he is actually dealing with. Andre is revealed as the familiar person that Chris was trying to understand beforehand, and he can finally understand that the Armitages are not who they really seem to be. Photography in Get Out also symbolizes power, specifically as a weapon of control to manipulate narratives and assert authority. Rose's photos reveal her systematic, calculated process of selecting victims. Each picture in her closet is a snapshot of her manipulation and a trophy of her deception. These images reduce her victims to a visual catalog she uses to exploit Black bodies for her family's overall goals. These photos transform Rose's relationships into something that is transactional. So much so that she even says that Chris was one of her favorites. This theme comes to a head at the auction scene. Chris is standing oblivious with his camera in hand and becomes the subject of a bidding war. Here the Armitages and their guests use photography in the most sinister way possible, to objectify and strip Chris of his autonomy. The photo of Chris is displayed in front of the entire audience as a symbol of his reduction to a product, something that can be bought and sold. This is further emphasized when we see Rose looking online for her next victim. By shopping for Black individuals like someone would shop for clothes, we can see an underlying reference to slave auctions, or how Black people were sold and distributed in the 1800s. Photography is used as a way for the Armitages to show their authority as collectors and distributors, whether it's Rose handpicking her victims or Jim betting on Chris's eye. However, Peele doesn't leave photography in the hands of the oppressors. He actually uses it as a tool of resistance and a way to reclaim agency and expose truth. We see Andre's awakening through the flash as the first act of liberation, but later on, Chris discovers for himself Rose's collection of photos, which become his own awakening. These pictures reveal her deception and the lie that she has perpetuated their entire relationship. It shows the true nature of the Armitage's plans, and it shatters Chris' trust, allowing him to see her for who she truly is. Within the act of resistance, Chris gets some assistance. By taking the photo of Andre and sending it to his best friend Rod, who is a trained TSA agent, he gets a more in-depth investigation into the odd things that are happening at the Armitage's house that he can't seem to put his finger on.
Oh, that's Dre.
Dre.
Andre Hayward. Used to kick it with Veronica.
Veronica from what?
Teresa's sister that worked at the movie theater on 8th.
Yes, that is him. Is him.
All in all, in Get Out, photography is more than a tool to capture moments. It's a reflection of identity, a means of resistance, and a force for truth. Peele uses photography to challenge the ways we see and are seen, which forces both the character and the audience to confront uncomfortable realities beneath the surface. As Chris shows us, the lens with which we see the world is not just a tool. It can be a weapon, a mirror, and ultimately a means of liberation.